but just going to give you a little history of, my journey as a real estate investor. I want to spotlight one deal that he mentioned to you, an eightplex that I sold, and then what my ultimate goal is, which is why I'm here today to share with y'all.
Should I have brought up his?
So first of all, this year will be celebrating 30 years to my lovely wife, Lisa. She couldn't come tonight, but we met up in Glacier National Park, Montana in 1990. That was us on our first date there. And I've got two beautiful kids. I just realized I don't have a picture of all of us together, which is kind of crazy. So there we are. But my wife, Lisa, and our two kids. My career did not follow a linear path at all. Started as a tour guide in Montana, went on with a short career in education. Then I went on, the next natural step is I went and built guitars in Austin, Texas. That made sense, right? Then I got pregnant, had to go make money, and then I got into real estate sales with my mom. She was one of the owners of RE/MAX there in Beaumont, Texas. So I went to work for her, got into some education with real estate, started managing real estate agents, and about 4 years ago I got into the title business, so I now work for Capital Title. So the last 20 plus years of my life has been in real estate, and I tell you, I've just absolutely loved it. It's been a fantastic career to raise my family. But throughout that time, it became obvious to me that I had to start investing in real estate. So I'm going to give you, this was kind of fun going through this process of, I didn't realize how much I had done over the years and just a lot of little steps along the way to get where I am today. So this was actually the first house I bought. It's not even there anymore. They tore it down. So. And I don't have a picture of it. So that was 2002, bought it for $39,000, sold it a few years later for $55,000, made a little bit of money. I'm like, ooh, okay, I can make a little money doing this. Bought a beach house. It ain't there anymore either because this is what replaced it because Hurricane Ike came through and blew it down. So, but purchased a beach house, sold it, made a little bit of money on it too. This is the first real estate investment I made where I'm like, wow, this real estate thing can really work. I bought these two duplexes. I put down 70%, owner finance 30%. I got into them for less than $5,000. They made me lots of money over the years. I don't even know what the IRR on that is. It's infinitesimal, I guess, right? But I just sold those last year after hanging on to them for a number of years, and I bought a couple of triplexes over in Groves, Texas. I did a 1031 exchange, so I still own those right there. I'm going to be selling those at some point. 2013, I bought a little duplex. Held on to it for about 7 years, and then I sold it. If I knew then what I know now, I would have sold them for more money. I totally missed the mark. I undersold them, but nevertheless, sold those, bought these two buildings, which I still own right now, some commercial space, and I did a 1031 exchange on that as well, and those have done really, really well. It's the only commercial space that I own. Bought a little fourplex in 2014, held on to it for a while, made some pretty good money on it, but this is another story. If I knew then what I know now, I would have done it totally differently because I sold it, took the tax hit, and paid off my house because I thought that's what you're supposed to do, right? Pay off the house, So I did. I would do things a lot differently now, but nevertheless, that's what I did. 2014, came across an eightplex that I bought. This is the one I'm going to feature here in just a few minutes. So was able to do pretty well on that one, and that was a good purchase. Enjoyed that. 2017, came across a good deal on a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house that I held on to for less than a year. Ended up flipping around, made just a very little bit of money, but it cost me nothing to get into, and then I sold it, and then I used that money to buy these 4 houses in Koontz, Texas, 4 houses on 2 acres that I still own right now, and that's been an interesting property for me. So, this was the one flip that my wife and I did, and it actually turned out pretty well. We bought it in August 2019, sold it in December, and we made about 25 grand net on it, which that was pretty good. And we stayed married. That was the best thing. That was amazing. That's the only flip we've ever done. I just knew it was going to make money. I knew the neighborhood and everything. Now, what did I do with that money? We built her a little art studio in the backyard. So this is Sunset Studio, which has been really good for our marriage because she's got a place to go and do her hobbies, right? So that's what we did with the money. We built a little studio out by the pool in our backyard. All right. So some takeaways from all this. One thing that I would do differently, when I bought these properties, I just bought them and I didn't do any work on them at all. And in retrospect, it makes a lot more sense to get the repairs done, especially ACs and things that are going to break on you. Because what I'm finding now is there's been a lot of deferred maintenance that I have to not only deal with while I own them, but account for when it's time to sell them. Have some sort of plan. Don't fly blind. Over the years, I just kind of had this vague idea, keep buying more properties, get enough to where it's going to, fund your retirement when it's time. And it's worked out, okay, but, a better plan would have certainly worked better. Next, get a mentor. You have to have a mentor. I literally just, like I say, I was flying blind, just kind of doing things the way I thought needed to be done, and, luckily came out okay. Keep on investing, and let everybody know that you're looking, because a lot of these deals that I found were just because I was telling everybody, if you ever come across a deal out there, let me know, because I might be interested in buying them. So that's just a few takeaways. All right, so the featured property here is this 8-plex that I bought over in Bridge City, Texas. Okay, so I bought it in 2014 for $227,500. Now these numbers I think are going to be a little bit hard to see, but we'll do our best. Maybe y'all can see those okay. So, before, when Steve asked me to do this presentation, I was like, well, I better get my numbers down. I better see how well that one performed. I had no idea how well it did until I really got the numbers. So, because I kept pretty good records on it, and if you see here, purchased at $227,500, had my down payment closing costs, I got into it for $49,500. I just sold it a couple months ago for $425,000, had very little closing fees, paid off the loan, and netted $313,632. So when you trace that, and I did have my cash flow every year that I plugged in here, and when you total it all up, it ended up having a 40% rate of return. So you may wonder, why the heck did you sell it? Why would you sell it if it was doing that well? Well, the reason I sold it is because I've changed my investment strategy. It's 5 months ago today that I was here for the first time. I didn't know anything about this stuff. I mean, literally, I was sitting out there just 5 months ago, and I'm looking at all these people up on the wall. I'm like, what is going on here? What's this place all about, right? And I came here because a friend of mine was up here speaking. She was one of the guest speakers, and I came to support her. And so I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. So I dug more into it and talked to Steve, and signed up for the coaching club and kept talking with him. And he's like, man, you need to take the next step. You have a lot of experience. I had no idea how much, I've just kind of been doing this for the last 20 years. I just, didn't think much of it. And so he invited me to come up here and speak. So here I am. But it really forced me to go back and look at what all I've done. And I tell you, I don't know where y'all are in your investment journey right now. Maybe you haven't bought your first thing. Maybe you've bought a couple things. But I tell you, I'm so glad to have done what I've done. I wish I would have made this next step sooner. We all wish we would have done something a little bit different sooner. But I'm glad to have done what I've done. And so, anyway, so why sell with such a good internal rate of return? Well, one of the reasons, there was quite a bit of deferred maintenance, and the guy that bought it, he bought it as is. It's in a really good, very, very good location, Bridge City, Texas. Chevron Phillips is about to have a huge plant there. So the guy that bought it, he's going to fix it up and do wonderful things with it. And he just gave me what I was asking and told me not to touch it. I'm like, you got it, man. So, but then, with the main reason I wanted to sell it was to take the money and move to the next level with some passive investing. I got to tell you, I'm so excited about it because it's going to get me to the retirement that I was really looking for. I didn't want to have to worry about managing properties or having somebody manage properties in my retirement. It's the passive investment. That's what I wanted to do. And I am so happy to announce I've made my first passive investment just here recently. If you want to hear more about that after the event, I'll be after tonight in the networking. I'll be happy to share it with you. So right now I've got several more properties that I'm going to be selling out there in the Beaumont, Texas area, Southeast Texas area, and I'm going to move all that money over into passive investments. And my ultimate goal is to get up on that wall over there like some of these fine gentlemen here and those out in the audience as well. So that's really my goal. And Steve, I just got to tell you thank you, man. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Steve's been a great mentor for me. These guys sitting out here, Frank, Joseph, Terry, Dan, they pick up the phone when you call and you ask them questions. This is just a wonderful wonderful organization, and I'm just proud to be part of it. So thank you. Okay.